The depression, send us to the taxes, make them parents from my court. Fuck what y'all do, don't know what's gonna stop it. Fuck killing cops, what if we kill cops' kids? Make that nigga adopt a baby cause we got his. Make that nigga adopt on this head and pop it. Maybe they just forgot. Refresh and give a pop quiz. Make a movie about cops, kids in small boxes. Cops, kids in small boxes. Make a movie about cops, kids in the depression. Send us to the taxes, make them parents from my court. Fuck what y'all do, don't know what's gonna stop it. Fuck killing cops. What if we kill cops' kids? Make that nigga adopt a baby cause we got his. Make that nigga adopt on this head and pop it. Maybe they just forgot.
Welcome everybody to the Frito and Willie show. I'm your host Frito, and we got Willie Mac Trill in the building.
After hours episodes, ladies and gentlemen. After hours.
This is an emergency podcast, dog.
The wives don't know we're doing this. You may pop up anytime now, but just act cool.
Yo, Willie. So just to let the people know, I got a text earlier in the afternoon.
Yes.
Willie texted me and his sister on a group text like, yo, we got this and we need to speak about this right now. Please let the people know what we got to talk about.
There's only a few things that can prompt a breaking news situation from the Frito and Willie show. Pac back, unreleased Biggie verses, something to that level. And today we got some news of an unreleased Andre 3000 verse. And I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I totally feel. I just know I need to talk about this with my boy right now. So this is the context that I think we feel comfortable saying. So the background music of that is Cops Shot the Kid. Of course, it's from a Slick Rick sample of the incredible song A Children's Story. And that loop, that segment of music, I am 99.999% sure is used in a Nas song called Cop Shot the Kid, which was produced by Kanye West, that was featured on the Nasir album that came out a couple years ago. Nasir album was a 9-track album by Nas that was entirely produced by Kanye. It was not reviewed that well. I'll be honest with you. I was super excited about it. And then I remember grabbing it, downloading it. Legally downloading it the day, and that day it came out, was like, oh man, this ain't it. Had a lot of promise, and Cop Shot the Kid was one of the songs that had promise, but it felt rushed. And Nas said later that Kanye did rush it, because Kanye, I think it was 2018, was on this big thing about releasing these albums, like making like 1 week albums, like Pusha T Daytona was like a 7-track album. And then Kanye put out his own song, put out his album. And then this was also one of the other albums, this Nas album, where he was trying to put out these like 1 week classics. And whereas Daytona worked, the Ye album didn't, and this didn't. And, people were very disappointed. And Nas even said later on that, he felt rushed by Kanye. And if he had to do it all over again, he would have tried to ask Kanye to slow down, that certain tracks didn't come out the way they wanted to. He would have liked to do more things with some of the tracks. Definitely, this was not something that any of us knew about, that maybe one of those things work with Andre. But I can tell you, this verse did not make the album. This is the first time most people have ever heard this verse, and it's caused like a shockwave of like, who does it? Who cuts 3,000 verses? You know what I'm saying? I do know that Kanye is very particular. Like, if you have late registration, the song Crack Music, we want that crack music there, doom, doom, doom. So Game only does the hook on that song. That's naturally not how the song was originally made. Game literally did write a verse for Crack Music, but Kanye was like, this doesn't fit the song, Game. Like, I actually don't want to talk about crack and selling drugs. I'm comparing crack to hip hop music, and I'm saying that my song is dope. And of course, he does talk about how the Black Panthers were infiltrated by the FBI using drugs and all these type of things. So he's actually dropping knowledge in that song, and Game was not to Kanye's desire. So he literally cut Game. And I mean, you probably laughing, but 2005 Game was on, like, Game was on fire in 2005. And no, so Kanye does not mind cutting you off, but to cut this verse from this artist is a little weird. So I'll turn it over to you, Frito, for your thoughts.
So yeah, so my take on it, I did not hear the Nasir album at all, but I'm just wondering why, the street's been fiending for an Andre verse. The people's want it. They crave it. What is the thought process, especially if you're rushing it? Like, what's really the harm? And from the sound of it, because I heard the song, it seemed like it falls right in line with the theme of the song, Yeah. And honestly, that may have boosted up the album a little bit more if they put it out. I'm just baffled. I don't know if there was some, I'm just curious why they would do that. Like, what was the thought process? Because really it goes against, from a fan perspective, from a label perspective, everything's just all out the window why you wouldn't put this out with the album.
I mean, so do you have any hypotheses of why, or are you just totally like you have no idea why this will happen?
I have no clue. I'm hearing rumblings that like they may have thought like one of the verses was a little bit too much. Maybe the kid in the box. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
But again, the kid is, the like song title is Cop Shot the Kid. Like,
the
theme is about police brutality. I don't know how much that you can get with that. And now, with your boy Andre in the mix and you saying it's rushed, maybe Andre wasn't satisfied with the verse?
He is particular about his stuff. I'm gonna let you finish your hypothesis though.
No, that's all I got. What are your thoughts why they wouldn't have it on there?
So there's four theories.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna try to go through them quickly. So the first theory, the first theory is the first one I just want to believe is not true, right? And that's, Nas didn't want 3,000 outclassing him on his album. I just don't believe that. I do know that Nas is a very particular, and we need to do a pod on Nas. Nas has literally had one of the most interesting and honestly weird careers of any, of the potential GOAT, people on that GOAT list. Like, Nas is just a very interesting character. He's made business, musical decisions that have just been weird, you know what I'm saying? But he's just a strange dude. But I don't think he's that strange. And also, like, I always, when people say stuff like this, and there is a history of people taking there is a history of rappers taking guest appearances off their records. That is fact. But it's Nas, And my thing is, all Nas need to do is do what Jay-Z did on Big Pimpin'. Put an extra verse on the end of it. Yes, that's real. He outshined Jigga on an 8 with 8 bars. And when the video came out, Jay-Z just like, you know what? I'm just gonna put an extra verse on the video version. Come on, bro. We know why you did it. You didn't want the last line of that song to be the straight fire that Pimp C put on there. That's a whole other story. So I'm throwing it out the window. To be honest with you. I'm giving that less than 10% probability. All right, the second one, I'm gonna put it probably about 30% probability. Kanye. And Kanye, maybe in 40 or 50. Kanye rushing everything. Maybe Andre wanted some more time on it. Maybe, because it's very important. It's not like that's a full verse. What was that? Maybe like 6 bars, maybe 8 bars. Yeah. Like it wasn't a full verse, and that's why you got the loop coming in. Maybe whatever Andre said after that wasn't to Kanye's liking, and Kanye was like, "Oh man, like, I need you to do this. I need you to change this up. Blah blah blah. I got an idea." And 3000's like, yo, dog, I'm in the park playing my flute, cuz, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm you know, and Kanye's like, well, I need this to get done like today because I need to make this album by tomorrow. And 3000's like, bro, I'm fluting, you know? So I get about 50%. And Kanye being like, oh, it's not perfect. It's not to my liking, blah, blah, blah.
But see, the thing is, I think that may be one of the best ones because I feel like Andre is an artist.
Yes.
And he wants time. In my head, he wants time to cultivate a real proper verse because he understands the significance. And from what he says too, the reason why he probably hasn't put out music is because he feels the pressure in order to put a Hall of Fame verse, an all-time verse, every time he comes something. So
and it's Nas.
And it's Nas. So if he didn't feel like there was enough time to do that, then he was just like, I'm good. I'm gonna bow out.
Yeah. So that's pretty much theory 2, which takes Kanye a little bit out of it and puts Andre more in the forefront of it. That it may be theory 2 and 3 are probably put together, where 3 was that Andre wasn't satisfied with the verse for whatever reason. Because 3000 has a long history of this. People don't understand, but bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, the Kendrick Lamar song, the remix to that was supposed to feature Andre 3000. There's actually a studio video and he actually uses Andre's voice in the song. If you really listen, there's a part where someone goes, "That's perfect." That's Andre's voice because Andre literally was in the studio and was supposed to do the remix to that song. And Dre's there, Dr. Dre and Kendrick, and Andre's like, I don't got it. I don't have it. I can't pick up the vibe, you know, pun intended, on this song. You know? T.I. has said that when they made Sorry, that, you know, he invited Andre to come over and Andre just sitting there and Andre's like, I need some time. T.I. goes elsewhere. The engineer comes and gets T.I. and is like, dude, Andre just totally switched up your song. And T.I.'s like, what? Like, Andre just totally switched, like, and T.I. said when he went back to listen to, he's like, this dude really just rearranged the song to make it more of his. And, you know, the interview's like, did you think about doing your verse? Or it's like, dude, if it was anybody but 3000 would have done my verse over, because that's, you know, he totally made the song something that I didn't make it what it was, but like, fuck, it's 3000. What am I going to do? Also, it's awesome. Whatever. And then we can talk about the international players thing where, you know, Pimp, you know, and Paul send 3000 to beat, and 3000 takes out the freaking drums, and Pimp C gets it and was like, what the hell's 3000 doing? I told nobody to touch anything. Like, what is he doing? And Bun and his manager to be like, it's 3000, just let him be. Like, I think he knows what he's doing.
But here's the thing. Andre probably laid one of the best verses on international players.
Yeah. When the record label heard it, when Bun heard it, even when Pimp C got out of his feelings, he was just like, damn, we got to make a video for this. That was convince this fool to shoot a video. We had to do all to get a verse from how we could convince this guy to get in the video. Like, and they had to do some, we'll tell that, it's a real funny story how they got to do it, but this is 3000. So maybe he heard the verse himself. Afterwards was like, maybe I don't want to go there. Maybe I want to go somewhere else. And I need more time. And now you have Kanye and Andre do it, both of them like, no, I need this now, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Boom. So I put that at about 60, 70, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now the later one I think is about 80, 90. In 2016, we don't talk about this a lot because some of us may have our own thoughts about it, you know, but, you know, the Dallas police officers, you know, they were shot. A lot of them were, you know, it depends on who you think did it, but whatever, like, you know, a young black man was killed after the murder of 5 or 6 police officers in Dallas. And, you know, there have been, you know, there's always cop shootings, but, you know, there have been acts of violence towards police officers, and, you know, maybe the label, maybe Kanye, maybe Andre, hell, maybe even Nas thought that maybe this verse coming from this artist was not in the best interest. And I say this artist because, no offense, but like, man, like, you would not listen to hip hop. That's all I'm gonna say. Is that there is some real violent stuff out there, but some people just don't care. Some people could say anything, just the way it is. Some people can make songs and make, and it could be a political spin on it. It could be a political spin on it, and it's still like, okay, whatever. But then you have Andre freaking 3000, who is beyond an elder statesman in hip hop, and though he's not has the mainstream success of a Jay-Z or even a Kanye or an Eminem, I think his voice probably means a lot more than all those other rappers. Feel like I could totally see if 3000 would have put this song out. And the thing about it is, me and you are students of the game. So you and I know enough that even this verse, and we don't even know how the verse ended, we know that he's literally not telling people to go shoot up cops' kids. Let's just keep it out here. He's literally talking about the ridiculousness in that statement, but that's also the ridiculousness of that statement or anything that builds that is based off just pure anger and the desperation of our communities. The fact that our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters are tired of our children constantly being murdered. I'm not going to edit that, simply being murdered by police officers, and at the very least being killed recklessly without punishment by police officers in this country. And so I think what Andre was saying was like, oh yeah, forget shoot cops, shoot these cop kids, and then they'll see then there'll be a more reciprocal feeling in other communities to see just how much pain and how much grief, how much fear comes from that. But we don't live in an age where people listen to lyrics anymore. We live in an age where people get sound bites. I can't tell you how many conversations I had to hear about WAP at work. Like literally, like people, oh, you that WAP song? Oh my gosh. I'm just like, do you hear the song? Did you? Or you just know what it's about because you're talking about on Good Morning America or on your morning talk show on the radio? Like, if you listen to the song, I mean, it's a very raunchy song, but it's a raunchy adult song. Like, I know rock songs. Let's talk about Cherry Pie. Let's talk about that. She's my cherry pie. Like, they not talking about, they ain't talking about the bakery section in your little grocery store. We know what cherry pie they talking about. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. And cherry pie I've seen that song advertised in many, back when they used to sell albums, the 1-800 albums, it's like the best of the 80s. Like, I would see Poison cherry pie. I'm like, that's crazy. Song about oral sex. I mean, that's no other way to say it. What the hell? You mad about WAP? But anyway, that's why and probably a combination of all those things, but that's why I think it didn't happen. I'm glad I hope we get the full verse. I hope we get an understanding of what did happen. And I hope this is not the last opportunity that we can get. We're going to do a Kanye pod eventually, and but the opportunity that was to have literally two of the GOATs. There's no question. Nas and Andre 3000 on the same song with, I think, someone who, whether you like him or not, is at least in the GOAT conversation for producers, in the conversation. And a guy who is definitely in the list of high achieving lyricists and is and with all I just said, is on the very short list of the best rappers / producers of all time. And, no matter how you feel about it, even how I feel about him. But man, like, talk about a lost opportunity, and probably a lost opportunity to have probably a very, very, very genre defining political song. So I'm disappointed, but hopefully we get another chance.
Most def. I think you put that in very eloquent words, my dude.
But I need the whole verse though. Need the whole verse. And yes, I'm about to chop it up and figure out how to make this a whole song, put Nas on down. Look, man, we finna make this work. I'm bumping this. Cop shot the kid. You know what I'm saying? That was dope, bro. I think three, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That boy 3 crazy, man. Three, he continuously does this. Like, how many songs has he taken where he's taking what a song is supposed to be about based on that original art, whether it's Walk It Out or whether it's 16 with Ross or it's, Sorry with T.I. or Play His Anthem with UGK. I mean, there's so many examples of this, but how many times has he done this where the song you could tell is going one direction and maybe even a great direction, but then he puts his spin on it and you just like, wow, that's crazy.
Walk It Out was the perfect example because I don't even recognize that as a song anymore. I just recognize Andre's verse because he totally flipped the song.
Totally flipped the song. Well, it's a dance. It's a dance song. It's not even supposed to be something you think about. It's on the swag surfing list of songs where you're just like, oh, okay, this song, I'm gonna do my little dance. You know what I'm saying? And then this fool literally makes his verse about maturity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, straight up, like even his first lines be stupid. Walk it out like a usher. Dog, if you claim real talk, I probably won't trust you. You like, whoa. I thought I was just supposed to dance. Like, is he kicking knowledge?
Big time knowledge.
My car?
Depreciation value?
You know what I'm saying? I give a damn about your car. Unless it was a city of the classic, about the drastic change in value. When cars were made of metal instead of plastic, what? Did he just say I need to buy my shirt 3 sizes down? Did he just call me out?
He touched my soul.
You can't be the king of the parking lot forever.
Whoa.
And then says, you know what I'm saying? Not saying I'm the best, but you know what I'm saying? I'm here. It's whatever. Write me a letter. Like, he pretty much is like, look, man, I know I diss a lot of y'all trap rappers, and probably even including the dude that wrote this freaking song. But hey, if y'all had a problem with 3, holla at 3. I don't even know how we turn this to a Walk It Out conversation. But 3, man, like, and on this song, like, I mean, is it dangerous? A very dangerous verse. And for those who aren't skilled in hip hop, if you just wrote these lyrics in somebody, it's like, oh my God, like, why are you celebrating this guy saying that? Why don't we put kill cop kids and put these cop kids in boxes? And oh my God, make a movie about cop kids getting shot. Like, this is horrible, Willie. This is horrible, Frito. Like, this is reckless. It's dangerous. You're like, no, this is hip hop. This is what this genre is able to do. Because the anger, because you're supposed to be angry at that. I'm glad that you're angry at that. That's what he's trying to communicate to you. That's the sentiment in his neighborhood, in many neighborhoods. This is a father of a young Black man. You guys think, put all that in perspective. Like, wow, like his son was 16 years old, I think, when this verse came out, if it came out when I think it came out. And I'm like, yo, he got a 16-year-old, 17-year-old son who's tall. You know what I'm saying? Who's tall. 3000's on 6 feet tall. He's got a 6 feet, young son, with crazy hair and all type of stuff. And you know what I mean? He's thinking about his own kid. It's just a very deep situation that, man, like, I just feel like that was a moment. Man, that's crazy.
And I think you're right. He is being the artist that he normally is by taking a track and changing the perspective.
Yeah.
The thought process of the track, because really the song was all about the cops shooting the kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, let's flip it. So what if it was the other way around? Would we as the people act differently towards the situation? And that's the thing. He's just changing perspective, because a lot of people just see things tunnel vision and don't like to, like, let's just switch it up a bit to see someone else's perspective, to see where they're coming from. I think one of the most underrated parts of, we're all over the place, but I was telling somebody today how, like, the Dark Knight movie with Joker, R.I.P. to Heath Ledger. I think one of the things that was really lost in that movie is what Heath Ledger was telling Commissioner Gordon it was Commissioner Gordon. He was telling Harvey Dent in the hospital, who also was a district attorney.
And when the Joker says, you know, what happens if a trunk full of game bangers gets shot up? Or what happens if a trunk full of soldiers gets blown up? No one does anything. We don't even react to it because it fits the plan. It fits the acceptable narrative. Then he goes, but one little mayor gets shot at, and the whole goes crazy because it doesn't fit the plan. It doesn't fit the narrative. And so what was incredible, I think that's what 3000 was doing was, you know what, let's just have a different narrative. That's crazy, man. That is dangerous. It's super dangerous. And like I told you, I'm, you know, we at the Frito and Willie show are very sympathetic. I mean, Frito's a father, and I hope to have kids one day. But you know, I mentor students who go through these situations, who go through living in neighborhoods where violence happens. So we're definitely not here to trivialize anything even close to that. But we are here to talk about just the power of hip hop and what I think could have been an incredible moment in hip hop. But I also totally understand if any of those parties, especially Kanye, Nas, or 3000, decide to change their mind on it too. So I do respect them if they made the change. The label, not so much, but 3000, Ye, or Nas, if any of those three men felt uncomfortable, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got, dog. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's Thursday. You know what I'm saying? And we out here talking about 3000.
For sure, man. I appreciate you getting an emergency pod on deck.
No doubt.
You know, shucks. As we always tell the people, please like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media sites. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. We all out here, you know. And yo, we love you guys. Thank you so much for continuing to listening and watching us. Appreciate it. Thank you. And with that, we out. Peace.